Hello, my name is Jackie, and I will be taking you through a Vinyasa Yoga class today. If you haven't logged in and watched a class before, it's a pretty basic class. We'll go through some beginner pose, maybe work into some intermediate holding of the poses, but I want you to just take a moment to relax and focus on your breath as we flow through these poses for today. So when you're ready, if you have a mat or a safe place where you can practice for the next 20 to 30 minutes, get there now and meet me in a seated position where we could just begin with some breathing. So take your hands and place them on your knees, roll your shoulders back a little, and breathe. In this class, we work on deep belly breathing. So instead of raising your chest while you breathe, we'll focus on raising that stomach up and down. Deep, big breaths. Really hear yourself breathe. I know it might sound weird at first, but connecting with that breath, listening to that breath, helps you relax. Maybe roll your shoulders back a few times again, or forward. Maybe you rise your chin up towards the sky and down towards your chest. Maybe roll your head and your neck clockwise. And counterclockwise. Let's take one more deep breath here together, breathing in and out. And when you're ready, shift with me down into a child's pose. Your knees are a little further than your hips. Sit your butt back to your heels, and your hands come out in front. Creeping your fingertips forward for a deeper stretch. In this pose, I would like to set the intention for today's class, and you can set your own. Maybe you need some less stress in your life. Maybe you are hoping for a happy Thanksgiving. Whatever that might be, set your intention now. And place your forehead on the mat. And let that intention flow from your mind onto the mat. And breathe here. Feeling this pose and enjoying this pose. And remembering that at any time within the next 30 minutes of our class, you can return to this pose if you need a break or you just need to focus on yourself for a moment. Taking one more deep breath here, breathing in and out. Shifting your arms up, lifting that back for a tabletop position. Your hands are underneath your shoulders. Your feet are pressed against the mat and your knees are under your hips. And we'll just gently get into some cat-cows. Breathing in, dropping your stomach low. And exhale, that back rises up slowly. And inhale, stomach drops. And exhale, round that spine out. You can follow me or go at your own pace, breathing in and out. Again, really taking your time to stretch deep into these poses. And we'll do one last one, breathing in. And exhale. We'll return our back to a neutral position. And our right arm comes out in front of us as we begin to warm up our core. Our gaze shifts up, maybe wiggling our fingers a little bit, holding it here, using that core to stabilize us, and breathing. Dropping that right arm, and our left arm comes up. Again, our gaze shifts up towards that left arm, maybe wiggling those fingertips. Feeling that distribution of weight on the other three that are still touching the mat as we tighten our core. And release that left arm. Our right leg kicks back. And we breathe here, holding that right leg up, tightening that core, warming everything up. Maybe rolling out that ankle clockwise and counterclockwise. That right leg comes down, our left leg kicks out. And the same thing, rolling that ankle, tightening that core, staying stable, and breathing. That left leg comes down. As we're warming up, we breathe in, and that left arm and that right leg come out. Testing our stability for today, keeping that core tight. And breathing into those arms and legs. Dropping those down. Our right arm, left leg kick out. See if there was a difference. See if this side is more wobbly or more stable as we breathe here. Bringing those down. We'll do a few more cat-cows as we finish our warm-up. Breathing in and out. In and out. One last one. Finally, we'll enter that child's pose one more time. Sinking deeper. Sitting that butt back onto those heels a little further, or reaching those arms out for a nice deep stretch. And breathing here. As we shift up back into that tabletop, we curl our toes under for our first downward dog of the day. Walking out those back heels, stretching out those legs. Maybe going a little deeper. Breathing into those arms and legs. Maybe dropping that head down. Relaxing your muscles. We'll take our left foot, cross it over into a pigeon pose. Your foot should be on the right side of your leg, almost as if you're sitting on it. Our arms are underneath our shoulders, and we're sitting back. Don't sit back to where it's uncomfortable, just to where you can feel that stretch in your left leg. And breathe. Curling that right foot, taking that left leg up, and lowering it back into downward dog. Sinking deeper, breathing into that left leg. We'll bring our right foot up, cross it a little, And sit on it as well, just as we did the last one. Keeping that chest up straight. Sitting only to the comfort of that stretch for you. Breathing into this stretch. Curling that left toe. Taking that back foot, rising up. And lowering it down, back into that downward dog. Walking it out one more time. Hopping or stepping your feet up to the front of the mat. And tracing your body up slowly. Our arms come up and rest at our sides. As we meet in mountain pose, we'll come to the front of our mats. And from here, we'll ground ourselves for a moment, breathing deep. Feeling all 10 of our toes gripping that mat. Our feet, as our arms come up, and we swan dive forward. Our fingertips grazing the mat. Maybe bending your knees a little if you can't fully touch the mat. Rising up halfway. And maybe grabbing your arms, fully collapse your body and just ragdoll and hang there for a while. Feeling the stretch deep. Our hands come all the way down to the mat. Our feet kick back. And our back is flat in a plank position. We hold it here as we notice that our core is tight. And we slowly lower ourselves down and rise up to upward dog. Our shoulders are pulled back away from our ears. Our chest is up, breathing through that. So we feel this throughout our back and our legs and our arms. Curling those toes under, we lift our hips back into a downward dog. Hop or step your feet up to the front of the mat and slowly trace your body up. Your head is the last thing to roll up. Arms above our head as we meet back in mountain. Being aware of how your body feels after the first flow. Breathing. As we go for our second flow, our hands rise up. Swan dive forward. Those fingertips graze the mat, halfway lift. And collapse all the way down, hands to mat, as we meet in a plank position. Holding this a little longer this time. Breathe in here. Slowly lower yourself down and rise up through the chest into upward facing dog. Maybe shifting your gaze up. Breathing here. Curling those toes under. Rising up into downward dog. Sinking those hips further and further for deeper, longer stretches. Hop or step your feet up to the front. Rising up slowly. Hands above our heads. And meet into mountain pose. As we enter our final flow, we'll hold everything a little longer and a little deeper. Our hands rise up. Swan dive forward. Holding it here. Touching the mat with our fingertips. Rising up, halfway lift. Folding completely down. Feet step back into that plank position. Holding it here. Breathing into those arms and those legs. Stabilizing using that core. And lower yourself down slowly. Rising up through the chest into upward facing dog. Shifting that gaze up. Breathing here. Breathing through that chest. Curling those back toes under, lifting up into down dog. Walking up the dog one more time. Shifting those hips back further. Hop or step your feet up. Tracing your body up slowly. And we meet in our mountain pose. Do a quick body scan to feel how your body is relaxed and stretched and warm. Taking a couple breaths here. Deep belly breaths. We'll shift back into the middle of our mat as our hands rise up in front of us and our butt and our hips sink back into a chair pose, holding it here. Our hips are sinking back so that we can still see the tops of our toes. Our arms are reached out for stability, and we hold it here. Rising up to that mountain pose. Breathing. Exhale, sink back into that chair. Engaging that core, those legs to stay stable. Rising up. And one last time, inhale, we sit back. Holding it here. Grounding yourself through all 10 toes. Shifting your gaze up towards your hands. And release up. Breathing here. From here, our arms come up as we swan dive forward one last time. Our hands come down to the mat, into that plank, resting our knees down to tabletop. And widening those knees to enter that child's pose. Notice how nice this pose feels. Enjoy the toes and breathe deep. When you're ready, rise up slowly. And we'll enter a seated position. Our legs are kicked out. We're standing or sitting up straight, rolling our shoulders back away from our ears. Our hands come to our sides as we rise up, lifting that butt and our legs up to inverted plank. Engaging that core to stabilize, maybe pointing those toes, holding it here, and release. You can enter that pose again, or we can bring up those feet, bending those knees, and lift up to inverted tabletop. Letting your head rest, tightening that core, stabilizing, using all four limbs. And release, kicking those legs back out, maybe bouncing them a little, shaking them out. Now we'll roll over to one side, using our arms and armrest, stacking those feet, placing them next to each other. We'll lift up, and if that is uncomfortable for you, you can bend this knee and rise up to assisted plank. If this isn't challenging enough, again, kick those feet out. Maybe raising that hand up, shifting your gaze, and maybe threading that needle down and up, down and up. One last time. And releasing that side, shifting to the second side, kicking those feet out, stacking, putting them next to each other, or bending that bottom leg, lifting up to this side. Again, maybe we reach towards the sky, wiggle our fingers, and thread that needle in and out. If this is too easy, again, stacking or side to side, in and out. Lowering that side, we'll get into our bow pose. Our feet are on the ground, extended a little, or extended fully. And we reach up, stabilizing through our core. And release. Rocking back, hugging our knees tight. Maybe shifting left and right if that feels good on your lower back. We'll go through that series one last time. As we rise up, our legs kick out. Our back is straight, rolling our shoulders back. Our arms come to our sides as we lift up for that inverted plank. Holding it here. Tighten that core. And release. Going back into that pose, or bringing those knees in and lifting up into inverted tabletop. Dropping that head. Tighten that core. And lower down. Our legs kick out. Breathe here. We'll get into those side planks, using that arm as an arm rest, stacking the feet to the side, or dropping that. Rising up, and our arms shift up as we thread the needle in and out. One last time. Holding it here and releasing as we shift to our other side. And we rise up, our arm shifts up, and we thread in, out. One last time. And lower down. And finally, shifting into that boat pose one last time. Our feet are on the ground, slightly bent or fully extended. And our arms come up, holding it here. And release. Maybe rolling that neck out. Rolling the shoulders down. Breathing here. Next, I would like you to get on your stomach. Our arms are in the front. We're looking at our arms, our feet are flat. And we reach back to grab that right leg and pull it close to our butt. Breathing it here. Releasing that right foot. Grabbing that left foot. Instead of releasing that left foot, we'll grab that right foot again. And pushing our feet into our palms, we'll rise up into full bow pose. The harder you press your feet to your palms, the more you will lift up. And release. We'll go through that one more time, grabbing that right foot, pulling it as close as you can. Releasing that right foot, grabbing the left foot, pulling it in close. Grabbing both feet and pushing those palms, rising up, feeling the stretch. And release fully down to the mat. Rising up slightly as we enter child's pose. Breathe here as we begin to cool down. Rise up slowly and follow me as we lay flat on our backs. Arms are to our side, and we grab that right knee and pull it in close. Maybe rocking it clockwise and counterclockwise. Now take that knee and throw it over that left leg as we gently twist to the left side, keeping both shoulders flat onto the mat. Our gaze shifts to that right hand. And we breathe. Taking that right knee back up, pulling it close into our chest, and extending it back out. Taking that left leg and doing the same, pulling it in close, rotating clockwise and counterclockwise. And we'll throw that left knee over that right leg and gently twist to that right side. Our gaze can shift to that left arm as we make sure both shoulders are flat on the mat. And we breathe into this twist. Grabbing that knee in close. And instead of extending it out, bring that right knee up to join it. And maybe just curl up in a little ball for a second and rock side to side if that feels good on your back. And we're going to grab those feet, maybe the outside, the inside, or a toe, and enter happy baby as we let gravity just pull our legs down into a stretch. Again, maybe rocking side to side if that feels good for you. Releasing, hugging those knees in close. Rocking side to side. And one more time, we'll grab those feet and enter happy baby. Hugging those knees in close. Releasing that right leg and that left leg. Our arms come to our sides as we enter our final resting position. If this isn't comfortable for you, feel free to enter a different pose. If you have a blanket or a pillow, feel free to use that now. As we breathe here and close our eyes, scan our bodies, see how we're feeling, and relax. I want you to come back to that intention you set at the beginning of the class. Remember it and let it go. Let it flow yet again from your mind fully onto the mat. And breathe. Focusing on that breath. Making sure your inhales are full and deep and your exhales are long. Remember to thank yourself for spending the time here today on the mat to relax and to be mindful for yourself. I want you to begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes to bring awareness back to that body and to the mind. But remember to keep focusing on that breath. And when you're ready, I want you to slowly turn to one side. Stay here for a moment as we bring awareness back to our bodies. Using that hand to push yourself up, meet me in a seated position. Rolling those shoulders back. Our hands come up, palms come together, and we bring that to our mind, our mouth, and our heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining my class today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great rest of your week and a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you again. I'll be teaching next Tuesday as well.